tall Simon?
Probably 6'3", but very, very lean. Very lean. He might even be 6'4", but he's very, very thin.
We have oil pressure, water temperature and oil temperature. We run quite a heavy oil in this car because it's got oversized bearings and the like. So we actually run a 50 weight oil through it. So it's always best just to let it get a couple of degrees of temperature on it.
Gotcha. I'm sure Simon really appreciates this monologue that you're giving.
No dramas. We're also still running the standard traction and stability control, which I've just turned off. Gearbox is smooth, there's no grinding, no nothing else. It's, actually drives just like a normal road car, other than it's got a noisy diff now.
Gotcha.
Take it for a run for a couple of minutes and get some temperature in it, and then you can see how it pulls. Yeah, 2.5, it's plenty torquey. You can just idle along everywhere in it. Don't have a lot of boost lag. It's still quite torquey off boost. Currently running around 19.5, 20 pounds, with 200 kilowatts at the wheels, and I think somewhere near 400 newton meters. So again, for real world performance, it's not a top end motor, but drivability is really good on it. I've just put on the GPS speed readout as well, so that'll come with the car. We use that in Targa 130 to make sure we don't go over our allocated speed limit.
Yep.
Scan gauge there, which you might not be able to see with the sun, but that shows boost or manifold pressure, coolant water temp into block, and this one shows coolant water temp out of block. And we've also got intake air and just voltage. And obviously we've got water temp, which you can see is coming up towards 85 degrees now. Oil pressure, which is just starting to drop now the oil's getting warm, and oil temperature is 68 degrees. So we'll just let it get a couple more degrees, and then we'll be able to show you how it goes.
Sounds good.
Assuming this traffic buggers off.
Yeah, what's that lockdown shit? What's everyone doing out?
Everyone's back at work now.
it?
75.
75. Oh, okay. So
Can't see that there. When we turn around the other way, you'll be able to see it easily.
so that's just okay. So you just use that on the heads up. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So because we're running a wider tyre but with the same profile, the speedo is a little bit out. At the end of the day, the only time I've needed to really look at the speedo is when we're doing timed events.
Fair bit of poke.
Yeah, it's not too bad. We'll just swing around at this roundabout up here. Assuming there's no traffic, we'll do a So 0 to 100 is somewhere around the 5.5 seconds without murdering the clutch. So with this car, I normally launch at around 3.5 and just quickly feed out the clutch without dumping it, and then obviously increase accelerator at the same time. Yeah, heavy duty clutch, it's all really good, and it doesn't damage the gearbox.
Have you had any issues with it over the journey?
None at all. When we bought the car, it was all completely standard. So obviously the first thing I did was do a full service on it, leak down test and everything else. And we found the original motor, which at the time had 107,000 Ks. Number 4 cylinder was just a tiny bit down on leak down. So we decided that for reliability, we'd just get the motor built. If we were going to put more boost in it anyway, there was no point, you know, dropping the gearbox with the clutch in and doing all these other mods without beefing the motor up. So as you'll see from all the receipts we've got inside, just spent money to begin with, and then you don't have to worry about anything. The car now has 121,900 Ks on it.
Okay, so you did all this work yourself with help? Or
Yeah, so I've paid someone to do all the mechanical work.
Yep.
I stripped the car, prepped the car for the cage, and then went to LF Performance to have the final, you know, windscreens out, fuel tank out, all of that stuff for the cage to be welded in. And then once the cage was welded in, the car went back to LF and had the windscreens put in, new fuel lines run, all the emissions evac canisters and that taken out, because in this car they put them inside the car, which is stupid. So yeah, it's just all as good as it can be. Don't really know what else to say. I wouldn't be selling it if I didn't have something else to go on with.
What are you going to go on with?
Probably an 86 or maybe another MX-5.
Okay.
The daughter wants an MX-5 because she enjoyed the last one we had. But I think if I'm going to put her on the track, an 86 being a fixed roof car will probably be a safer bet.
Mm-hmm.
And security and stuff, being a bit newer car as well. Got a bit more of the safety items on it, if you like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that'll be alright for a first car.
Oh, that'd be awfully cool, I would think.
So you can see this is obviously a little bit quick for a first car.
A master of understatement.
So the car pulls really nice, it's clean, there's no jerkiness or anything else, there's no, you know, off boost lag or any of that stuff, it just goes.
How many times have you been off track?
Off track.
Off track. How many trees have you wrapped it around?
None,
And then
none at all. I think you might find there's a mark on this wing mirror from an orange cone.
Did you hear that, Simon?
Yeah.
I don't think we can buy this, mate. I don't think you can buy this. It's got
It'll
a mark.
buff out, right?
Oh, the old "it'll buff out" line.
Obviously, all today's testing has been done on a private road.
Absolutely. Again, I'm no expert, but just on assessing you and assessing the car and everything, yeah, it looks like it's what you purport it to be.
It's a good solid car. It's not an STI. It's never going to be a collectible. But if you want to race a car, the last thing you want is something that you're afraid to use. So we bought this and built it with the intention of using it, and it's done us well. So we'll show you the diff. I don't know whether you can hear that little knocking.
Yep.
So that's the diff locking up as we go around bends.
Yep.
It's a 1.5 way diff that's set to, I think it's 80% lock at the moment. What that means is, even on a wet road like this, if you were going around second gear corners 60, 80 k's an hour, you can still oversteer this car like you can a rear wheel drive car. We've got the rear sway bars set on their firmest setting to also assist with the turning if it's something that obviously bothers you with the driving side of it. The front can be stiffened up, the rear can be softened down, and you can get rid of that balance, or you can pull the diff out and either reset it to a lower lock level, or put the open diff that's sitting in the shed back in it.
Okay.
Put new front wheel bearings in before we started tracking it. This model doesn't have the individual bearings like the previous GD series. It's actually a pre-mounted block. You just literally take off the backing plate, just unscrew the whole bearing. It's really easy to change. Still got the original bearings as well as spares that'll come with the car. Yeah, don't know what else to say really. It's just a good solid car. Always serviced. The rally sprints we only do about 60 k's, so we do every third or fourth round. Obviously if we're doing a track day where there's a lot of high speed tracking, we'll do an oil change before and after, and the same with any Targa series. First thing you'd want to do is put fresh oil in it, and then the last thing you do when you're finished is push fresh oil in it again.
Gotcha.
It's running a catch tank, which I've put a drain valve on, so you don't actually have to unscrew it all. That's just underneath the passenger footwell.
Okay.
And yeah, all the other niceties are all taken care of.
Alrighty, well I might just turn off the film now and then try and extricate myself from the car.